You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.
And welcome to this week's Hackers Podcast. Every episode available on Spotify and YouTube.
ECG, where everybody can golf.
Now watch this drive.
Hey there, golf fans. It's another episode of the ECG Hackers Podcast. It's episode 9. I am the Ashman. I'm a huge golf fan. I'm a huge sporting fan. Joining us today on the tee box from Port Macquarie, Dooley. How you going, brother?
Good, thanks, guys. How are you? Glad to be here again.
Always good to see you, man.
Fun as ever. Yeah.
I should call you Dickie Knee, but we'll get to that in a second.
I do, yes.
Also, joining us from the Formula One Grand Prix in Melbourne, Zook, brother. How are you, mate?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. Good to be here, and looking forward to another dissection of the week and dissection of some interesting topics that Ash has curated for us. So looking forward to it.
Thanks, brother. You having a good time down there? What would the practice and qualifying will start in the coming days, I guess, at the F1?
Yeah, probably kicks off in earnest tomorrow, but today the V8's kind of ruled the roost and we're roaming around and had a race at the day's end. So, it was
cool.
A good first day.
Awesome. Dooley, I heard you busted your knee, mate. You're out in the course today and you hurt your knee. Is that right?
Yeah, I didn't get to the course, mate. Yeah, I just, last few days, about a week now, done something to an old injury, but I never let it get in the way of golf, but I just couldn't do the walk this morning, so...
Yeah.
If I had the hoverboard, I would have got out there and had the 18.
Yeah.
And it was wet as well, so it was an easy decision. Yeah.
Coming up in this show, we're going to have our Who's in Your Four Ball. It's motorsport themed because it's Formula One Grand Prix week. Can't wait for that. I put a bit of effort in like my brother did last week. I put a bit of effort in this week. We've also got a new segment called Locker Room Chat. And, of course, Ugandan's favourite golf-themed segment on any golf podcast. That's come up later as well. That's Ripped or Yipped. But right now, we're going to head across the newsroom. Belvedere.
It's time to head to Zook in the newsroom. I was looking for you earlier in the locker room. I filled up the punch bowl and organised some pizza just for you. Anyway, over to you, Zook.
Thanks, Belvedere.
Cheers, Belvedere. As always, we'll start locally. And this week saw the season finale of the PGA Australasian Tour. The event was held at the National. Cameron John held off charging Daniel Gale to claim his first victory on tour. John shot a final round of 3 under 69 to win the tournament by 2 strokes from Gale. Remarkably, John only required 11 putts on the back nine to seize victory.
Wow.
So, just as critical as the tournament itself, the outcome of the final audit of merit was perhaps more important, with the top 3 merit placing receiving a DP World Tour card for the 2025 season, while the top 50 retain their card on the PGA Tour of Australasia. With the results coming in of the tournament at the National, Daniel Gale and Brett Coletta joined Kazumi Kabori in earning DP World Tour cards. In addition to obtaining his World Tour card for topping the order of merit, Kabori also earns a start at the Open Championships at Royal Troon. And in addition to that, he received an invite to 2 tournaments on the tour, the DP World Tour, over the next 6 weeks. So,
So this year, he can play a couple this year.
Yep.
Oh, that's
he'll
sick.
He'll get a run. So,
Nice.
Upon reflection, I thought it was a great season. I thought the signature events, being the PGA and the Open, were of a high standard, had some great finishes, and it was probably a season in which Kabori announced himself to the world of golf. Ash, what was your highlight of the PGA Australasian Tour this year?
Oh, great question. I've really enjoyed it. I've got 3 that I put down, and I appreciate you giving me the questions before the show. My highlight was taking my daughter to Brisbane to watch the PGA Championship and seeing Min Woo Lee there. We followed him for about 6 or 7 holes.
Awesome.
What an entertainer. You know when you can tell someone's got that X factor in sport. He just has that X factor. Yeah, the chef, man. It was really, that was my highlight, being there at Brisbane. Didn't really rate the course too much, to be honest, but it was great to see him. I also was on the green side when Joaquin Neiman hit his hole in one at the PGA.
Way.
So yeah, we were sitting green side, and I've got to admit, it was probably one of the first times I noticed him. And after that, I noticed him more and more and more over the next 6 or 7 months. So, and he just went from strength to strength.
Been on a heater,
mate. He is. I think realistically, if you had the golf ratings just for the last 5 years, he'd have to be up there number one if it was a 5-year window.
He's so calm.
Yeah, his caddy's awesome. I don't know what his caddy's name is. And one of the best things about Liv's broadcast is you hear the banter between Joaquin and his caddy. His caddy's South African, I think, Dooley, isn't he?
I think so, mate. Yes. Yeah.
Next time we watch Liv next weekend, I think it is, have a listen to his caddy and listen to how he actually guides Joaquin beautifully through the shots. And he's been a great support act there.
There was one instance there on Liv where his caddy said, "Oh, it's one hole left," and he's, "No, I've got it one hole right." And it was like they looked at each other. It's straight then. And then he nailed the putt. It was excellent.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Also, the last thing so I got 3 things that were highlights for me. I appreciate you asking me. In November, when us boys had celebrated my birthday down in Coffs Harbour, Dooley and I and Chris, we sat there and we watched the Gippsland Super 6 on KO. And I think it was the world's largest playoff. I think it was about 37 people involved in the playoff.
I think it was 28 players. Yeah.
Crazy. They had 3 lots. It was chaos. So they're my 3 highlights for this year's Australian PGA. Thanks for asking.
All right, moving on. We'll turn our focus offshore, and really the focus of the golfing world was on the Players' Championship, which was held at TPC Sawgrass. For the first time in the tournament's history, the tournament had a repeat winner. Scotty Scheffler put on a clinic on Sunday, closing it out with an 8-under 64 to head in and post a clubhouse score of 20 under par. What followed was just absolutely gripping golf. As the 2 most recent major champion winners, Brian Harman and Wyndham Clark, along with the world's number 6, Xander Schauffele, were all hunting down that score, trying to force a playoff. It all came close, but perhaps none came closer than Clark, who's putt on the 18th to force a playoff, lipped out in the most cruel of fashions. Ash or Dooley, perhaps Dooley, what was your immediate reaction to that lip out on the 18th?
The first thing I thought of was the old party trick of the glad wrap over the toilet. And I was just like, how has this not gone in? It was unbelievable. Poor bloke. Like, that was devastating. Yeah.
It seemed to actually, I reckon, 3/4 of the ball went in.
Yeah.
And came back out. Can I actually add something there, Chris? I felt I felt that brings up a good point about the TV broadcast. That was exciting, but it was just a man putting, and it took a long time. He lined his putt up, and it was quite a long bit of sport telecast. People might bag golf out for being really boring or whatever on TV, but I think that's the magic of it. That 5 minutes of lining the putt up and the pressure building, they're the memories I have that stick in my mind of golf. It's like Greg Norman on the green falling over, the chip-ins from the bunkers. It's the pressure on the greens, to me, as a golf fan, that I appreciate on the broadcast. So I feel like they need to remember that it's not just all highlights. A lot of it's the slow nuances of the game. But that's just me. I'll get off my high horse.
Yeah. All right, look, I agree with that perspective, but this was a case where perhaps not having the shotgun approach to golf that Liv has allowed the broadcast to focus on these, point. 3 finishing players who were hunting down a score. I think in that fashion, the traditional approach, if I can call it that, to how a tournament is played really worked in the broadcast's favour, and they were able to focus on these three individuals and let the broadcast breathe and let you absorb the pressure. It was big names in big situations on a big time course in a big time tournament. For me, it was gripping. This was the most golf I've watched this season. I thoroughly enjoyed the tournament.
Totally agree with you there, bro.
So just some things in relation to Scheffler's performance. You would have seen in rounds 2 and 3, he overcame a bit of a neck injury that plagued him. And his 5-stroke comeback to win on the last day matches the largest comeback by any player to win this tournament. He again led the field in strokes gained off the tee and strokes gained tee to green. And his putter was also in solid form, in which enabled him to gain strokes on 3 of the 4 rounds. So he's been, in fantastic form. This was his second win in 2 tournaments, so back to back. So Dooley, is it fair to say that Scotty Scheffler now is the man to beat in world golf?
Oh, he is. He has been for the last few, probably months as well. But have you seen the stats on since he grew that beard out? He's unstoppable.
Really?
He's unstoppable since he grew this beard. And I saw a meme today of them wanting to change the TPC logo to the Scheffler Shuffle.
Yeah, I saw that.
Did you see that? That was awesome.
Yeah.
And I also saw today his caddy has earned more this year than Rory. His caddy's nearly up around 900 grand.
Wow. That is a great stat.
And that's just from the last few months.
And we all know I love Rory.
Yes, we all do. Yeah.
Mate, I said it in episode 2, and Zook, you would agree with me here. I make ridiculous brash exaggerations and
but you're not a prude.
But I'm not a prude, no.
Not a prude.
As proven in episode 2 as well. But I said he's going to win the Masters this year, and I still stick by that. I'll stick by that.
All right. Well, speaking of the Masters, we're not far away, and this wasn't particularly a great one for the Australian contingent. Jason Day acquitted himself early, but faded. And I believe, based on my reading, that this was the first time since 2006 that no Australian had finished in the top 20 of the tournament.
Right.
Despite this, there were some highlights, most notably Minwoo Lee's 60-foot putt on the 17th during the second round to snag a birdie. But Dooley, I suppose, all form of the Australian contingent, is it a blip or is it a concern heading into Augusta?
I wouldn't say it's a concern. Like, at the end of the day, it's golf. Anything can happen, man. Like, Joe Blow can go out there at the Masters and shoot a 65 or something, and anything can happen at that course. So, no, I don't think it's a concern.
Okay. I actually probably don't share the same. I feel like we're in a bit of a lull at the moment with the Australians just reaching that top 20-ish finishes. I mean, when Adam Scott's just a step behind at the moment. Jason Day's just a step behind. Minwoo Lee's on the rise, though. So I think he's the guy that could,
Yeah, I feel sorry.
What do you think?
I feel sorry for Adam because he's on the he's the player director, and so he's got all the responsibilities in terms of dealing with the live negotiations, and he would have been one of the parties that would have met with the PIF this week. So I think he's got a lot on his plate. So I kind of feel sorry for him and perhaps give him a bit of a pass. But Day's played okay. Minwoo's played okay. There just hasn't been that consistency there. So I'm not overly confident with Augusta in terms of an Aussie making it to the final pairing or having a presence on the last day. But as Dooley said, it is golf and anything can happen. So I'll hope for the best.
Just before you move to the next point, even in the DP world too, some of those Aussies are sort of not firing. Yeah.
So I guess just in terms of the tournament itself, there was, I guess, 3 other talking points I wanted to touch on. The first one was an interesting penalty that was applied to Austin Eckert on the final day at the Players. On the par 5, 11th hole, Eckert had a 20-foot putt for birdie. He struck the putt well, and his ball stopped and literally just hung over the edge of the cup. After some time, Eckert's ball eventually dropped, but despite this, he was met with a one-stroke penalty, resulting in a score of par for the hole. According to the rules of golf, a player can only wait 10 seconds for a putt to drop once they get to their golf ball, and they're not allowed to purposely delay getting to their ball to give it more of a time or more of a chance to drop. Having watched the replay a few times, I kind of believe that it was 24 seconds after Eckert got to his ball that it dropped. I know you've watched this a couple of times as well, Ash. Your thoughts on the penalty? Fair or foul?
Mate, not fair. In my opinion, in the modern day of sport, I'm a big basketball fan as well, as I know you are, Chris. That is a high action packed sport. You have a 24-second shot clock in basketball. Why the hell do we have a 10-second rule on the green in golf of all things? To me, it's absurd. So at least a 24-second shot clock, please. At least. It's golf. So I'm not happy with it. I thought the time he took to do that was fine. It was good television. Any longer, we're starting to think about it. So I'm glad he's mentioned it was 24 seconds, because in my mind, I'm thinking that 24-second shot clock might be about right. Yeah.
Dooley?
More rubbish. More out of my mouth.
No, not rubbish. Everyone's got their own opinion. But if you try that with me on a Thursday at Warhope Country Club, you're hearing about it.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you have a trip and fall on the way to the ball.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Twisted ankle.
Bit of acting. Fake a knee injury like I've done.
Actually, can I just, before you, did he try and put his hat in front of the... To
shadow it, yeah.
I was worried that he did that, because that makes the grass grains change direction.
Correct.
Sorry about that. That makes the grass grains change direction and the ball could fall in. But did he do that, or was it just timing?
It was timing. It was timing. Yeah. The hat didn't have a play, but I didn't know that about shade and whatnot. Whether it was going to have it has such an immediate effect.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. The grains will change direction, and I've seen it done before. Actually, I'm sure I've seen Dooley do it. But anyway,
I think we might have we've tested it a few times, and it does work. It's amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Interesting. That's interesting.
It takes 25 minutes, but it does work.
Yes.
On to the second, I guess, notable piece, and just wanted to shed some light on hole 17, seeing we spoke about it in depth last week. So just touching on some statistics on the hole for the final round when the pressure is at its absolute highest. So the final round had a field of 73, and the scoring average of the hole was 3.342, which made it the toughest hole on course. Wow. So in relation to the final round, there was only 4 birdies on the final day, which was the lowest across all rounds. And on that last day, it had the highest number of shots that found the water, being 18. So 18 of 73, we're looking at over 20% of tee shots finding the drink. I thought this was fascinating. I thought this was fascinating, given the experiment we discussed last week, where in that Golf Digest report, a tour pro with no pressure was able to land 49 out of 50 on the green. So
it's the final day yips.
Yeah, man.
I think it is. It is. So there was one horror story in Martin Laird, who ended up hitting 2 into the water en route to a quadruple 7 on the final day. And obviously, we all would have seen the highlights on the first day of competition when Kiwi Ryan Fox managed to ace the hole, which was great. Dooley, your thoughts on hole 17? Did it live up to the hype over the 4 days?
It always does, and that's why it's there. It's so good to watch. I'm blown away by the final day stats, actually. Like that, that extra added pressure of doing well it's probably the same club as the day before, so it's amazing how many people miss.
Yes.
And then
I felt like I walked away from that that broadcast feeling I wanted more of the whole 17th hole. I feel like I didn't see it enough.
Do you not watch the featured hole broadcast?
No, I don't.
Oh,
no, I
Ash.
don't.
Oh.
I don't. I try to watch the. Yeah, I know.
Hey, don't feel
particularly
bad.
In the early, particularly in the early rounds.
Yeah.
I'm a featured hole watcher.
Yeah.
This event, the short par 3 at Pebble Beach, I can just watch the dedicated broadcasts on those holes. The waste management party hole.
Yeah.
Right.
Particularly when things aren't on the line. When it's a round 1 or round 2 or round 3, I often prefer watching the dedicated feed. So
okay,
I really
need
to get me some KO, don't I? I need to watch more golf.
I think you do.
We do.
I
just feel like sometimes if I go to watch the featured hole, it might be just watching 5 WrestleMania main events in a row. It might be too much, but that's why. Anyway.
But I know you'd sit there and watch those 5 matches in a row.
Yes. And reenact them.
But, just to close out the news desk, and it seems just every week, there's a week that doesn't go by when Rory doesn't make a comment about the Live Tour, and this week was no exception. This time in media commitments after the final round at the Players, Rory has taken, I guess, what you would say a bit of a swipe at Greg Norman, implying he has done a disservice to golf as the boss of Live Tour. So a pretty big claim. With it coming to light that the tour's 6 directors of the policy board are to meet with the Saudi Public Investment Fund this week. I think they met on Monday in the Bahamas.
We did.
Rory had the following to say. So this was his quote. "It should have happened months ago, so I'm glad it's happening. Hopefully that progresses conversation and gets us closer to a solution. I've said this before. I have spent time with Yasser, and the people that have represented him in Live have done him a disservice. So Norman and those guys."
Dear idea.
So Ash, I know this. You've certainly had many thoughts and opinions on this. Has Greg's actions with Live done a disservice to the game of golf?
If I may, I have 7 words for you, Rory. 7 words. Piss off, Rory. Greg Norman is
car
golf.
Lovers, we know how much you love your car and how important it is to keep it in top-notch condition. That's why we've created the Car Lovers Infinity Wash Club, an affordable and convenient way to ensure your car stays sparkling clean all year round. Say hello to unlimited auto car washes for less than $10 a week. For details, head to carloversexpress.com.au.
Welcome back. You're watching the ECG Hackers Podcast. We're streaming live on Instagram right now. You can catch us on Spotify and YouTube, and we really would love you to support our wonderful podcast that we enjoy bringing to you each week. Starting next week, we're actually going to be having a trivia quiz, and there's a prize here. The man I just mentioned, he is golf, bro. He is golf. Greg Norman.
Especially in our country, man. He is golf.
Absolutely.
100%.
We'll paint the picture there. We're from Australia, absolutely. And I grew up, but this guy was an idol, a sporting idol of mine. But we're going to be giving away that 1991 Pro Set golf card for Greg Norman. Just a bit of trivia next week. And we will ship that anywhere in the world. Dooley's going to ship it anywhere in the world.
Excellent. Yes.
We'll
heck, I'll
stay tuned for that.
In person.
If it's Uganda,
there.
If we're heading down to Uganda, we'll be there.
Yeah.
A message from our sponsor.
Big brand golf balls up to 70% cheaper than retail. We're one of Australia's largest sellers of second-hand golf balls, so you save big time. Discountgolfballs.com.au. Never pay full price again.
Got to get on that, boys. Put that code in, ECG Golf. Save 10%. Save even more on your discount golf balls. Insane.
Awesome.
Get amongst it.
What is it? ECG Golf on the cart. You get 10%.
It is, awesome. Mate. You go to your cart. It'll come up with a little coupon tab there. Whack it in. Save yourself a few bucks.
Awesome.
Speaking from experience, are you?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Yeah, this week actually ordered some more. So there's pretty much 2 free balls I get to hit into the water now. So it's awesome.
Yes. I actually got a whole bunch of these ones off them. The Strixon Divides, but they're the yellow and white, not the yellow and blue. And they're a bit more of a gloss. So I'm pretty keen to give them a go. They're actually the Z Star. And I think you got the Z Star as well,
I
didn't you,
did,
Dooley?
yeah, just white this time. I'm struggling to find stuff in the rough, so I'll go white. Yeah.
Apparently Rand struggles to find the balls in the rough too.
He does.
I listened back to last week's show.
With the hole in his pocket. Yeah. Learn something every day.
Rambo should be joining us next week, I believe. Ugandan's favourite segment, golf segment's about to hit us. You know what it is? Any guesses?
Hey there, everyone. It's Belvedere here again. It's time for this week's Who's in Your 4-Ball? Back to you, Ashman.
Thank you, Belvedere. It's
thanks,
noisy
Belvedere.
coming out of the green room. I had some little kid come in earlier.
Yeah, I went in there before. Went in there before, and no one was in there. He was just catching up on some reruns of Home and Away.
Home and Away. I did mention to Belvedere that I'm on a diet at the moment, and there was nothing in there. So he took it to himself to actually just take it too easy. I think he hogged it. Chris, over to you, brother. This is Who's in Your 4-Ball. This is where we pick 3 players to play with us. It's themed each week. We've had things like pro wrestling, comedians, movie stars. This week, because you're down in Melbourne at the Formula One Grand Prix in Melbourne, we've decided to do motorsport. So I know you're a big Juan Fangio fan yourself. You're a bit of a driving fan. I think we should start with you, Chris. Who's in your 4-ball motorsport theme?
Thanks, Ash, and apologies, Dooley, for this topic. I know you may have found it a little more challenging than myself.
That's okay.
But one of the things I love about motorsport that parallels golf is rivalries. So in golf, you've got the classic rivalries of Woods v Mickelson, Faldo v Norman, Palmer v Nicholas. That just heightens and the action and it's kind of like the cherry on the top. In terms of when you're watching the event. So I started thinking about motorsport and drivers and just those that were involved with, significant rivalries. And just thought I'd use that as a basis to pull together my team.
Mm-hmm.
So starting off with the driver that probably got me F1, Ayrton Senna. I'd love to have him as my team captain. Sadly, he was taken from us too soon, but it was his rivalry with Prost that was just absolutely captivating and really got me becoming an F1 fan and an F1 lifer. And so would just love to have him leading my team.
Nice. Okay. The greatest.
And then something a little more recent would be Mark Webber.
Okay. Yes.
One of the unique things about Formula One is that your rivalry can often be with your own teammate. So it's not necessarily with others outside of your own team. His rivalry with Sebastian Vettel
Villeneuve. Okay.
Was captivating as Webber was coming to his peak and Vettel was just starting out in his career. So I'd love to have Webber on the course and would love to have 18 holes to discuss with him and hopefully get to the true understanding and the true story of the whole Multi-21 saga. And then finally, as always, I need a female. And so this was an easy one, actually. This is an individual that probably should be more well known within the sporting world, and that's Michelle Mouton. She is an absolute legend of World Rally. Her second place finish in the WRC during the Group B era is just absolutely remarkable. Her performance stands heads and shoulders against anything else that any other female has been able to do at the top tiers of world motorsport. And her rivalry with Walter Roll during that season in which she came second in the WRC Championship in 1982 is just epic. So
wow.
They're the three. That's my team, and would absolutely love to spend time with all three of those.
Nice.
Beautiful. And as always, Chris, well researched and well presented there. I appreciate that. I can't believe that's 3 weeks in a row we have picked at least one person the same.
Unbelievable.
I can probably guess who it was, but apologies again, Ash.
No worries, mate. I'm going to go with my team leader, who's in your four-ball motorsport, Nicky Lauda. I grew up loving this era of Formula Ones. Nicky Lauda, when things are getting a little hot, he's calm under pressure. He's an amazing athlete of modern day, and the galleries are used to seeing him on fire, so he might be quite good in my four-ball.
Very direct, Ash. Very direct.
Yeah, he's going to be my captain.
Right.
Ayrton Senna. I picked Ayrton Senna as well. He's handsome, funny. He's one of the best ever. He tends to overshoot the fairways, though, especially on dog legs.
Whoa.
But when the chips are down, I know he won't lose his head. And then we've got Michael Schumacher up, bringing up the rear.
Oh, this couldn't get any worse.
Sorry. Michael Schumacher. So I went with 3 Formula One legends and a driver I looked up to as a kid. I mean, Michael Schumacher was a bloody amazing sportsman. So I'll finish off with Mick Schumacher. You know what they say about a bad short-term memory is great for golf? I think it'd be perfect in my team.
Well done.
Over to you, Dooley.
Well, that's going to be hard to top. I'm just coming straight out and say my knowledge is, although I know of all 3 situations Ash's ones are in, but I've got absolutely nothing. So I had a little birdie help me out with this one, and I've basically just gone with a bunch of dicks because they're funny names. I've got it.
What do you got?
Okay, first one's Dick Trickle. Hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Then we've got a Dick Seaman.
NASCAR driver. What's a what? Dick Trickle
Dick
and
Seaman.
who?
Dick Seaman is the next one. And my personal favourite, which is Dick Passwater. And the conversation would be, what were your parents thinking, boys? Seriously, like, unbelievable.
Oh, love it.
I'm sorry that just went after Chris's. Yes, no study whatsoever. So
that's obviously finishing on a little bit on the dirty side. We need a bit of a clean. So here's a message from someone we know.
At Car Lovers, we know how much you love your car and how important it is to keep it in top-notch condition. That's why we've created the Car Lovers Infinity Wash Club, an affordable and convenient way to ensure your car stays sparkling clean all year round. Say hello to unlimited auto car washes for less than $10 a week. For details, head to carloversexpress.com.au.
One of the great things about playing golf with your mates is you get to the banter on the course and just the camaraderie and the funny stories and the funny calls. That to me is what I really enjoy playing golf with my mates, like you guys.
You can get away with a lot.
You can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Some of the funniest jokes I've ever heard have been on the golf course. So I think we're going to start a little segment here. It's about the locker room chat. So I know Sandy, the locker room, who looks after our locker room here at ECG, wanted to bring us this new episode. So hang on a second.
It's Sandy, the ECG locker room supervisor. Let's get down with some locker room chat. I've overheard you fellas chatting about some crazy ideas you've had. I think it's time you shared them. I have to get back to cleaning some balls and polishing some wedges. There's also a few items for the lost and found box that I need to sort out. Back to you guys.
Don't ever touch the towels in the lost and found, Sandy. She knows that.
No. That's the face of a woman that's seen an awful lot in the locker rooms, I tell you.
Absolutely.
Very
She's
surprised.
Great bargain. So there's three little points I want to bring up this week, and I'm going to throw them at you guys, and we'll spend 3 minutes on each one. And just I want you to think about on the fly. But the first one, I was watching the PGA this week. I'll bring a picture up on, if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify. Yes, here it is. No, basically it was Max Homer. Here it goes. Max Homer was teeing off on. No, I don't have the picture. So he was teeing off. No, it was a shot from the rough, and the crowd, the gallery, was standing literally within about a meter of his shot, and he basically hit out of the pine straw, I think it was, and connected with the guy directly in the head, probably about 10 meters in front of him. When I was watching it, I thought how ridiculous the gallery standing way too close. And it really pissed me off, to be honest with you. I thought, how stupid are these people? But I don't know. Did you see that? And what did you think?
I did see it. And if you stand there, you're asking for a concussion in my
Absolutely.
My book, I mean. But not only that, one sudden movement, and that's putting the golfer off. So there needs to be some sort of line drawn, if you will.
Well, the ridiculous thing about it was there was a tree about 3 or 4 meters in front of him, just off to the right, and he was obviously trying to hit it just to the left of the tree. But behind the tree, these blokes just encroached forward and started standing in front of his line. I think it's just sheer stupidity that they even did that. And who's to blame?
Yeah, I completely agree. I saw the video on socials, and I thought he had hit someone, but I believe he came back and posted saying that he hadn't made contact with anyone. So that was a relief.
Okay. Yeah, right.
But I blame the course officials here.
Yeah.
I really think there needs to be some agreement as to how wide these tunnels need to be through which the players can hit. This was crazy because there really should be a gap of 10, 15 meters and, ropes set to keep people back.
Yeah.
I don't know what the course official was thinking. Yes, he was trying to hit left of the tree, but that doesn't mean you set the rope and set the gallery, immediately, to the right of that tree. It was ridiculous. And the amount of people who... Go, Jules.
Oh, so I'm just saying, like, your Sunday hacker can kill someone. Like, these pros are hitting it at an astonishing rate. Like,
But I mean, the fact that there was a rope there, but it sort of finished at the tree, and then every moron has their phone out, right, to get a shot of the player, and they're not even thinking, "Oh, hang on, I'm actually standing in front of the golfer."
And by putting their camera out, they're now square to the
that's right,
to the ball, as opposed to being off to the side or in line with the shot, and they're just creating a bigger target to be hit. So I just think that the gallery, there should be a tunnel width of 10 to 15 meters. The pros are super accurate, yes, but this was a tree. If he had struck the tree and it ricocheted, that was going anywhere. And it only takes, him to be off by, 5 mil.
And someone in the temple, they're in trouble.
Yeah, that's it.
That actually happened twice this week. Did you see this in, I think it might have been in Wales or Scotland?
Yes.
The club captain teed off. It must have been a pro, and he's done the same thing. But he's at the tee box. He's clocked someone in the head. And there's a great video that shows up on Instagram every now and then. I'm just showing it on the screen right now. Have you seen this video where the pro-am, there's a girl, I think she was a tennis player. She's topped it into someone on the left there. Then she's teed it up again and done the same thing again and topped it and hit another person. And you can hear this kid in the background going, "Tell her to cut it out." It's awesome. Awesome.
That club captain, he looked like he'd had a few milkshakes, I think, too.
Oh, yeah. Look at that. He's just topping it right over.
But that was meant to be, I think he had just been voted in as club president. So this would be like Damo rocking up on the tee, in honor of the appointment. Hitting the ceremonial drive and then clocking one of his brothers.
I'm sorry, sir, but we're taking your car park off you. You're not getting that now.
What a way. It'd be rather embarrassing because I know what it's like to top a tee shot, even if it's just 2 or 3 people. Imagine doing that on TV. But no, the stupidity of that. So the next point, I'm glad you agreed. The next point I wanted to bring is we mentioned this last week. We talked about, I think it was Chris that brought it up when you were talking about you got charged a scorecard for a scorecard at the golf shop. And you said you'll only buy a scorecard if it has the map and the green flag recommendations or whatever.
Middle or back? Front, middle, or
Front,
back?
middle. FMB, that's right.
FMB.
So
that's right.
FMB, the head of the FMB movement. So for anyone listening who doesn't know what I'm talking about, when you go to a golf course, they usually try to have a different color flag, whether it's at the back of the green, the middle of the green, or the front of the green. So if you're coming down the par 5, you can see, the flag's at the front of the green. So the problem there is, like Chris mentioned last week, every course seems to have their own rules, and there's no consistency internationally, as far as I know, with the color of flags on the green to represent middle, front, or back. So I've got an idea for you. I was driving around and drove past one of the golf courses up here on the Gold Coast the other day, and I thought the only international color scheme scenario that would be doable in this situation, in my opinion, is having the traffic light system. So you'll have red for the front, amber for the middle, green for the back, or vice versa. But if they came up with that, what do you think?
I like it. I think you're right in terms of color scheme that's consistent. Yep, the traffic light is synonymous and globally known. And then if you take that approach that the red being at the bottom is closest to you, then I like it. I think it's logical. I think it can work. Your thoughts, Dools?
Or I think, yes, it could work until autumn strikes. And then your red flag disappears.
Oh, right.
Where am I aiming?
Right.
Other than that, you're onto something.
Yeah. Okay. But I think it's the only real internationally known color scheme, I would say.
It is.
Last of all, something that I know Dooley has had problems in the past, dress regulations on the golf course. In my opinion, they need to relax this up a lot. They need to move ahead with the times. There's a lot more athletes playing golf now. There's a lot more youngsters playing golf because it is a great sport. It's good for you. It's non-contact. So I see a lot more youngsters out there and fit young men. That obviously brings a younger generation. There's always a younger generation playing golf, but I feel like some of these courses are still stuck in 1989 and pushing these really old school dress regulations. It pisses me off. I've actually before had to turn around and go buy a pair of socks to play golf before. But what are your thoughts on dress regulations? What do you think it's too strict or perfect?
Well, I can vouch after having the 25-odd year gap in playing golf that they've relaxed big time. Since I used to hate going to play golf with Nan and Pop, and you'd get 3 holes in and pull your socks up, and not just ankle socks. I'm talking knee highs when you're wearing shorts, which defeats the purpose of being comfortable in shorts in the first place.
100%. Yeah, it does totally.
And then, like I remember, like what Nan used to have to wear, like a pleated skirt that would show a little bit of ankle. Like not like these pants nowadays the chicks are getting away with. So it has relaxed an awful lot.
Yeah. Can I just mention this? Look, I'm not saying I want to see people with soccer jerseys and things like that on the golf course. I still respect the game, but there's things like I feel like it should be more like tennis, where you can wear an active t-shirt, shorts, a little bit more stretchy shorts, so we don't get this swamp ass dilemma. I don't know, Chris, what do you think? Have you any thoughts on it?
That's where I was headed when you mentioned this, Ash. It's a sport. It's active. You should be able to have some sort of active wear. I think regulations haven't moved with the times. I would like to be able to wear, what I would. it's hard because is it what you would wear to the gym? No. Is it what you would wear running? Is it what you would have on the basketball court? I don't.
That's why I'm thinking
so.
tennis. Like
but it has
tennis.
Tennis is probably a fair comp, and I'd like to think anything that, anything that could be worn at the US Open, you'd be able to wear at a on a tennis. I mean, on a golf course. So. As someone who is focusing on the athletic side of the sport in terms of trying to raise my swing speed and trying to get a bit more power in my game, I feel that clothing that was more of that athleisure style is best suited to that aspect of the game.
What are your thoughts on women wearing tights on the course? I think we should draw the line there. But maybe I'm no prude. I am a prude, aren't I?
You are. Somewhat.
I don't necessarily have a problem with that, Ash. But generally there's a skirt or a dress that goes over that. But I'm sure we can find a middle ground.
I can say that I'm glad that my nan never wore those when I used to play.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Each week we are dropping a new episode which you can find on Spotify or YouTube. Also check us out on Instagram and Twitter or X at ECG Hackers. Send us your funny golf tales, ecghackers@gmail.com. ECG, where everybody can golf.
Thank you, Belvedere. I want to thank everyone that's been watching us, listening to us on Spotify, watching us on YouTube. You can watch us on Spotify as well, or if you're on Instagram as well. We really appreciate you all supporting us and getting involved, and everyone that's been watching on Instagram as well. It's been great to see some funny things come through. Next week, we're going to have a trivia question as well. We're going to give away a card, Greg Norman card. I'm going to see if anyone actually answers that. That'll be the real prize. Dooley, how's your vocal cords, mate? They feeling warmed up?
They're good. I was just going to say it's got to be that time of the week.
It's that time of the week.
Hey, fellas. Belvedere here again. It's time to go around the table with ripped or yipped. Let's see what side of the argument the boys were on. Ripped or yipped. Back to you, Ash.
Dooley.
Righto, boys. This week's ripped or yipped.
I love this. I look forward to this every week.
We'll go. We might go Ash first this time, then down to Zook.
Cool.
So, first one off the rank here is playing golf solo. Ripped or yipped?
Oh, ripped. I play golf by myself a lot. Mind you, I do live up here on the Gold Coast by myself. You guys are down south. I love golf by myself. Ripped. It's my zen. It's my escape. Ripped.
Mm-hmm.
I've never done it. I do a lot of things solo, running. I don't mind going to the movies by myself to catch something, but I haven't played golf solo. So I'm probably on the yipped side. I think I like the social aspect, so I think I would prefer to play in a foursome or a pairing rather than solo. So yipped.
Yep.
I'm very torn on. Sorry, you go, Ash.
Actually, can I just stipulate? I would play with mates at the drop of a hat. It's just that I would rather play by myself than with some random. That's
right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Understood.
Yep.
I'm torn. Like I do love playing by myself. You can hit an extra ball, get a bit more practice in, but just that thought in the back of the mind: if something awesome happens, no one.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? Like. Yeah,
even if you got a camera out and said I got a hole in one, I'd be still like, no, you put it there and run back to the tee box.
Yeah, exactly right. In saying that, always just being a member of clubs as a young fella and that, and playing with randoms, you get the occasional strange sort of outcome, but most of the time, more often than not, it's good fun. And yeah. So I'm sort of torn between that one, but I like it both ways, if you will.
Nice.
Cool.
Good question.
Righto, ripped or yipped? We've got the supersized putter grips.
Ripped. Game changer. The moment I put my mallet putter with a super soft grip. Yep, game changer for me. I actually enjoyed bringing the putter out of the bag. Ripped.
I'm Yipped. I'm kind of old school.
Ooh.
I just like a nice little pistol grip, if anything, and that gets the job done. It's about me and not the grip.
Yeah.
So Yipped from me.
Okay.
Oh, I'm going to rip it. To be honest, first time I saw it, I was like, this is a joke.
Yeah.
And then I bought a putter sight unseen off Facebook Marketplace, and it turned up with this thick grip. Never looking back. I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Totally agree. I've actually got an ionic grip on my current putter. It's thick. It's not quite as thick as those super soft, but bloody hell, it feels good. It's rubber. Ionic grip. Check it out.
Cool.
Golf shoes. Are they essential, ripped or yipped?
Yipped. I think goes back to what we were just talking about. We need to relax this up a bit. As much as spikes. I remember I used to walk around the golf course with spikes with you, Dooley, and you'd get ching, 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 ching. Remember that? No, they're not necessary anymore. My brother Rambo gave me a pair of Nike Air Max, and I wear them all the time now. I love them. So I'm going to say Yipped.
They're the ones you wore in at Pack Bay, I believe.
Mate, they were the ones I wore at Pack Bay.
Excellent. What about you, Chris?
I'm Yipped. I do tend to wear golf shoes, but to be honest, I probably prefer wearing running shoes. Once I've racked up too many Ks and they're, no longer good for running, I'll wear my running shoes on the golf course, and they're great to walk around in. So, Yipped. Don't need golf shoes.
Yeah, I'm going ripped. As a tradie and wearing work boots, I've never spent over $100 on a pair of shoes, and my colorway golf shoes are like heaven. I absolutely love them. Yeah, love them. They're not spikes. No, they're more like a cricket style shoe, but bit of extra grip. I'll leave them on and accidentally go shopping in them. They're just so comfortable.
Beautiful.
Nice.
Let's not forget the last time I had a pair of golf shoes. Last time I had a pair of golf shoes, the whole bloody sole fell off. There we go.
Fred Astaire rang and he wants his tap boots back.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is touching on what we were just talking about, tucked in shirts, ripped or yipped.
Yipped. No, I'm too fat to tuck my shirt in, so yipped.
I'm ripped 100%. My shirt's always tucked in on course.
If I looked as sharp as you, Chris, I'd be doing it too. But my balcony over the toy shop won't allow it.
I'm getting quite the balcony as well, but I'm as you'd say on Letterkenny, I'm a shirt tucker. Definitely a shirt tucker. Yeah. And I'll tuck it in and just pull that little roll out the top.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look as bad.
Yeah,
but I do feel
I
do feel it does contain a bit of swamp pass as well, having the shirt tucked in.
Yes.
Yeah.
It actually accentuates swamp ass if you're wearing cotton chino pants. A tucked in shirt. There's just no flow.
I would have thought it would have helped with some absorbency.
It does.
Take some of the heat off the pants.
It does.
If you're wearing a dry fit sort of shirt, possibly. Yeah. Great questions here.
They are good. Righto. Cleaning the wedge grooves after each wedge shot. Ripped or yipped?
Mate, yipped. As much as I love to buy an accessory, and I've got plenty of groove cleaners and I've got plenty of those cleaner things, I never do it. It. As much as I want to, never do it. Yep.
Yeah. Good.
I'm ripped. I do have the accessories, but half the time I just grab a tee that's in my pocket and clean out the grooves using the pointy end of the tee. That does the job. Yep. That gets rid of the sand and the grit and the dirt. So I need every advantage I can. So if I can get
are you doing that before? Are you doing that before it goes back in the bag?
Yes.
Are you doing it and then put it in?
Yep. Good. Put it in. Yep.
Dooley, what about you?
Yeah, I wouldn't buy the accessories myself. I'd give it a nice wipe with the trusty golf towel. You know how I like to keep a golf towel. Which is another reason why you should always wash them. Because
that's right.
Before I put most clubs back in the bag, I'll give it a wipe with the golf towel.
Yeah.
Just but I don't get right up in there giving it a clean.
You talking about the clubs or your ass?
The clubs this time.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
What do we got next here? Excuse me. Playing with half a set of clubs. Ripped or yipped?
Ripped. It's a lot of fun selecting 4 clubs to play. I'll go ripped. Love that. I don't need a 4-iron, 5-iron, 6-iron. I need a 7, a driver, a putter, a wedge. Yeah. So yeah, ripped it. But isn't it? It doesn't count on a handicap. Is that right? You can't add that towards your handicap score if you don't have a full set of clubs.
I'm not sure about that. I didn't think you had to have a full set of clubs to play.
Yeah, I thought 14 was an option rather than mandated. But,
yeah. No, I'm sure.
Anyway,
I'll check it out.
We need Damo. Damo will hit us up with that one. Doesn't he have 32 clubs at the moment or something?
He does.
He does exceed the limit. But I couldn't be more ripped on this. I generally play with half a set more often than not. Saves weight. I walk the course. I prefer to walk the course. I have a small bag. I have 2 bags, a full set bag and a half set bag.
Yeah.
Fill it with, odd irons, a driver and a putter and a wedge, and off you go. So, ripped. Love it.
What sort of bag are you using for a half set?
You're going to laugh. Mizuno call it a sack bag.
Sack bag. Nice. Oh, I love it.
And takes half a... It's really light, comfortable, and easy to walk the course.
Is the sack bag, you just lob that sack over the shoulder, or is it a trundler sack bag?
It is an over the shoulder sack.
Sack bag.
Excellent. I like to go around with a full set myself. Yeah. I do like try and get as much practice in, especially with longer irons. And like Damo, I think it was Damo mentioned he's got one club that'll just get him out of any situation in the trees.
3-iron, I think.
I can bend a 4-iron. Like I can almost hit myself in the backside with it sometimes. So it's quite
nice. Just have those bag of tricks. It's like your bag of tricks, basically.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got the last one on the list here, and I think we could probably all. I reckon this could be unanimous.
Yeah.
The little ball picker upper on the end of a putter.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Ripped or yipped.
I can't believe you mentioned this. I'm going to go ripped because I actually looked at one yesterday at the shop and gone, I'm going to get one. Because I'm 50 now and bending over to get the ball out of the hole, which happens a lot, is actually getting harder.
Well, hopefully it's at least 18 times.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's a dumb comment. Sorry about that. But no, I say ripped. I like the look of these things. There's a rubber thing on the end of your putter and just pick it up. Yeah, cool. Ripped.
I'm yipped. There's something about bending down with your hand and collecting the ball out of the cup. It's just one of the little pleasures within a round. Often a round can be pretty painful, but getting that ball out of the cup is a pleasurable experience.
I think that's coming from someone who doesn't suffer from swamp ass.
But yeah, true. I'm going to go with yipped purely for what Chris is saying. Like, I also get a lot of enjoyment out of watching you blokes bend down and pick your ball up out of the
At Car Lovers, we know how much you love your car and how important it is to keep it in top-notch condition. That's why we've created the Car Lovers Infinity Wash Club, an affordable and convenient way to ensure your car stays sparkling clean all year round. Say hello to unlimited auto car washes for less than $10 a week. For details, head to carloversexpress.com.au.
Thank you, Belvedere. We're going to wrap up the show in a couple of minutes. It's been fun, as always, to hang out with you, Dooley and Zook. There's one thing I wanted to bring up. I'll put it on the screen if you're watching on Spotify or YouTube.
I'm glad you brought him up. Awesome.
Anthony Spagnola at the TPC Sawgrass, hole 17, It looks like on hole number 17, he shot a 66, Chris.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So what's that? 30 in the drink? 30 plus in the drink?
Easy.
Must be 30 in the drink. Wow. How do you even have that on golf balls?
I don't know. That's one heavy
incredible.
bag.
But more importantly, imagine being in the group behind. Having to wait and put up with that rubbish.
There probably would have been 4 groups backed up.
This is where the calling up on a par 3 ended.
Yeah.
Like, mate, no.
Well, maybe like 27 groups went through and he's still shooting. Like he's you just go through, guys, and he's just topping them.
But see, the first thing I noticed when you put up that card is the poor bugger's had a par on one of the par 4s, and it's just
yes too. So he's back 9 at TPC Sawgrass in 1985. Yeah. This is the scores from 10 to 18. So he's shot a 12, a 6, and a 4. And that's a par 3 though, actually.
Oh, is 13, it? Oh, bugger.
A 15, an 8, a 66, and a 22.
And do you reckon they've rung him and said, "Sir, you've won the coveted checkered jacket"? What's that all about?
Yeah,
he comes to collect his shocking looking checkered jacket, and also drop zone. Did you notice no grass there? I reckon that's all from him.
Oh yeah, it's one huge divot. Don't forget to head to discountgolfballs.com.au and use the code ECG Golf and you get 10% off your checkout. That's at discountgolfballs.com.au.
10 out
it's
of
been
10
a lot of
can
fun,
recommend.
boys. 10 out of 10 can recommend. Been a lot of fun. I'm the Ashman. Dooley, that's Zook. We're the ECG Hackers. We'll see you same time next week.
It's time.
You're listening to the ECG Hackers Podcast.